Welcome to another edition of Chops and Pops. It is November 15th, 2015, and of all the sights and sounds to be seen and heard, you are here with us. Thank you so much for listening here on our YouTube channel. I am Andy.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Shane.
And I'm the returning guest, Steve Zaff.
Steve
Thank you,
is
Steve.
back.
Today, we are going to talk about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament gets underway, and Nick Bockwinkel. Oh, I messed that up.
Oh, no.
Nick Bockwinkel, Hall of Famer, passes away at 80. I'm sorry I butchered your name. Let's get to it.
So the World Title Tournament. There are a lot of matches.
There are.
We should probably go through them. Andrew has the list.
It was a pretty good theme to Raw. I mean, given that it was completely unexpected up until 2 weeks ago. But they had some good matches on there. My boy, Tyler Breeze, made his in-ring debut on Raw, and he lost.
Yep.
But 8 other people won. That includes Roman Reigns,
Yes.
Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Neville, Kalisto, and ADR, Alberto Del Rio.
So do any of you guys have a favorite? Or do you think this is blatantly obvious that Roman Reigns is winning?
I was going to say the Reigns train is storming.
Should we just go in a circle? Who do you think, Andy, who do you think is going to win this?
It's Reigns. Reigns is going to win
Okay.
because he turned down the authority, so he's going to fight back, and, this is his time. He's going to do it.
Reigns against who? Who in the finals? Because if it's blatantly obvious that Reigns is going to win, the more exciting
I would
thing
say
we could pick is
Owens would
who.
join up with the authority because he's a
Well-
prize fighter, and they could give him more money if he
You've been
does
saying
what
that
they
for
say.
a while.
I think it
Owens
would-
joining the authority.
he would
I
be
actually,
great.
I actually like that idea.
He would
Yeah.
be great.
But we'd have to see a bracket because they might end up meeting each other soon. Because
No,
No,
he's on the
they're
other
on the other
side.
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is on the
Reigns
final?
is fighting Cesaro, and Alberto Del Rio is versing
Kalisto.
Kalisto. That's
Yes.
right.
And then on the other side is the two favorites on the other side are Owens and Ambrose.
Correct. And they were supposed to have a match anyway at Survivor Set. Like, there's a program they're building up to, so it makes sense that they would fight each other. So you think Reigns and Owens in the
yes.
finals with Reigns winning. What about you, Steve?
I mean, the obvious choice is Reigns and, unfortunately, I think Ambrose.
Damn you.
But
Okay.
what I want to happen is something completely different. I want a dark horse. I want Cesaro versus Ziggler because then
That
everyone
would be
wins.
amazing.
Right?
Everyone wins then because no matter who wins, everyone is happy.
I agree.
That would be wild.
Unfortunately, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm absolutely. It's not wrong. It's not going to happen. That match isn't happening.
No.
You know, as strange as it sounds, until we just said it, I had thought Reigns was going to win this whole thing. But really, when you think about it, he's destined to make that finals match, but he's destined to just make it that far. To me, he's like, I don't guarantee him winning, but I guarantee him having another title shot pretty darn soon. I think it's way too obvious for them to script it like this. I'm going to take Reigns.
And who?
Ambrose.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Now here's the better question because we both said Ambrose and
Yeah.
Reigns. One of them go heel.
What better time than now when you think about it? Ambrose.
You know what? The shocker and I think the bigger crowd reaction would be Reigns going heel.
Nah. That'd be like, not Cena going heel, but like...
No. The world couldn't handle that ever.
That's a bit much, right?
No.
It'd be like The Rock going heel.
Sort of.
Which also happened at a Survivor
Yes,
Series.
yeah.
But no, I think for the end of the tournament, I think Reigns is the obvious choice. And I don't know. I thought people thought that that Owens getting to the finals was the obvious pick, but I thought a lot of people weren't really considering the Ambrose possibility. I would probably say Reigns winning with Sheamus cashing in, but I would say the finals will be Reigns and I'll go Ambrose. I'll say because of the whole Shield
Yeah.
backstory
The
to
theme.
it, that Rollins is out. And,
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to get to that yet.
I know.
I want them to hold off on that rivalry. Like maybe maybe something happens. And
But
if
see, that addressing that is kind of why I don't think that there needs to be a heel turn, is because I feel like it doesn't need to be a rivalry. I
Right.
think it's happening because of the current circumstances.
Yes.
Like Reigns and Ambrose don't need to go heel
Right.
because they're really just in a tournament fighting for the top prize. They can fight for it like fairly in the way that they don't need to backstab each other or cheat or anything. And fight fairly over it, and maybe that would even make more sense for the Sheamus cash in, because if there's no heel around, not building any heat for it, then
Right.
they fight fairly. Reigns comes out on top, and then Sheamus pisses everybody
Does that make
off.
Sheamus like the lead heel in the WWE right
Yes.
now that Rollins is gone?
Well, Rollins is out, and
Owens.
Who else is?
Owens.
Yeah, Owens.
Owens.
Owen should be, but for some reason he's still just not.
This is where they shot themselves in the foot by limiting him, because he had the potential to be right there.
Monster
now-
heel.
Here's the thing though: is history just repeating itself?
As
We're-
far as
We're probably looking at another Reigns world title main event at a major pay-per-view, one of the top 4, and Sheamus is gonna cash in.
It's just so stupid. It's like
We're in a fucking time loop.
But see, there's a purpose for that, and the purpose is that they're building sympathy for a babyface that has absolutely no sympathy. That nobody wants to give Roman Reigns that sympathy and feel sorry for him, so they keep building these situations where you have to feel sorry for a guy that worked that hard to get to the top, and then right as he reaches the top, somebody kicks him right off the top.
I agree.
You know what
but
I'm saying?
It's still not working.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
part-
that's free will. That's
part of the issue with Reigns, I feel, is not as much the sympathy. The sympathy area of it is. It's right down the road with The Rock and Cena. He's just getting shoved down people's throat. It's like, okay, I'll give you a clean win for this pay-per-view, but then I want Roman Reigns to wrestle 3 times the next night on Raw. Come on, like let's come along here. Let's either get him out of the world title picture, or give him the world title and see what he does with it, or change him up. Make him a heel. And I'm not even saying make him a heel and side him with the Authority. My theory behind it, which I think would have actually worked, especially given that he does a good promo, but not a great promo.
not a great promo.
I
Not
actually
a
don't
great
mind
promo.
his promos, but they are less than stellar.
Mhm.
The shorter they are, the better they are.
Yes.
Yeah,
or
very true.
if he's just reacting off of what someone else says,
Yeah.
he's pretty good. That's why he was actually doing good business with Bray. Realistically,
Like do like almost like a walk alone character.
Yeah,
Like
or-
almost Batista, like how you're saying like don't join with the Authority, but Roman Reigns could still be Mr. Solo. Like almost like kind of what they try to do with Baron Corbin. Like the
no,
lone wolf thing of like
Don't
only
you
by
dare.
himself.
Don't you dare bring
no,
him into this conversation.
I was actually going a completely different route with this.
Not today.
Let's make Roman Reigns a Paul Heyman guy.
You think so? I don't know.
It's too obvious.
I don't.
But what about Brock?
Yeah, there's that.
Brock
Plus,
hates him.
I don't see Roman Reigns as a Paul Heyman guy.
I don't see him as a Paul Heyman guy either. But the problem is you really have 2 choices here. If you're going the heel route, you can't have him stand by himself because he's built this whole time where he's gonna fight no matter what. So you can't make him the cowardly stand by himself heel. You either have to kind of side him with the Authority, or you kind of have to side him with someone else. And the only other obvious choice for siding with somebody.
But why do you have to?
I-
Because
yeah.
that was the point I was making, is that I almost feel like that's the one character that could work for him, whether he's heel or babyface, is just being by himself. Because he was part of the Shield, like he was introduced as this guy that was part of a group. He was fighting for the audience, like respect or just
Then
like
he
their
really-
approval or whatever. That finally, like if he just finally gets frustrated enough that he's just off on his own, like completely.
Because even when they did it with Batista, it kind of didn't work. It was really hard to believe that Batista was a coward, and he did. He went down the coward route when they did it, and unfortunately, with the PG era, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to make him scared. If you look at all the good heels they've had over the most popular, the highest name heels at least, not necessarily even good, but just the highest name ones they had. A lot of them worked good on their flip flops because they didn't necessarily run from the fight. Unfortunately, with the PG era, I think he's got a, and I'm including a couple PG guys in there. Alberto Del Rio had great matches, always had great matches, but kind of ran from the fight sometimes. Was smart enough to run from Cena. Was smart enough to run from so and so. I can't see Reigns running. If he has backup, he doesn't have to. Orton, when they turned Orton heel this last time with the Authority, and he was cowardly Orton, it didn't seem to work. I felt like that was why it didn't seem like, even when he was world champion, it didn't seem to mesh well. I myself prefer kick in the head Orton, where you're a bad guy because you don't care. You don't care what the fans think. You're not going to back down from the fight, and you never have. But I'm going to hit you with brass knuckles. I'm going to hit you with a chair. I don't care if I'm going to get disqualified to keep this belt, but if you're going to come into this ring, I'm going to do whatever I want to you.
You're talking about when he was part of the Legacy?
When he's
Like
part of the
around that
Legacy, even
that.
just before, like every time he's gone heel before this last time with the Authority, he was always kind of, well, I'm going to fight you. I'm still going to, because even Cena kind of said it in some of his interviews was, I don't like him, but I have to respect him enough to face him. So, like, Orton never backed down from the fight. That's why it was so easy when he would go face to kind of agree with him. Like, okay, yeah, no, we know he's going to fight him because, well, that's what he does. He still fights the guy.
You're
but
saying I get what you're saying.
I think Reigns, the problem with it is if he goes on his own. First of all, if he goes on his own, and one of the two obvious choices is either going to be Owens or Ambrose. If Reigns goes heel against Ambrose, he's going to have to be the guy that either stabs his brother in the back, and now he's got to kind of run from him a little bit because Ambrose is a freaking psychopath, or he's going to have to, or like I said, it's easier to not run. Like if you notice, Rollins didn't run from a whole lot of fights, but it's because he had 6 guys standing behind him.
What if Reigns in the tournament is getting beaten and Triple H is like, come on, Reigns, you can join me. And he's like beaten, finally like, okay. And he's like, we already got a guy. And then Owens kicks him in the face.
See, that's the type of stuff. Like, I don't feel like that serves a purpose. Like, I feel like
I just want
those
that.
are the scenarios they create storyline wise anyway to test Roman Reigns' character.
Yeah.
To show like when you offer him something like that, even if it's tempting or even if any other type of person would take that offer, it shows that when it's on the table for Roman Reigns, he's the type of man that turns it down. You know
Like
what
I said,
Daniel Bryan joined the Wyatt family for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And nobody cares
A
about
whole
that.
2 weeks.
Nope.
So here's the thing. Okay, with the world title tournament, what do you think so far? Okay, if we went through our picks or who you think's going to make it to the finals, out of what you've seen so far on Raw and SmackDown, do you think there's been any standout matches as far as anything that makes this tournament great, or it was an unfortunate circumstance that Seth Rollins had to get injured, and this is kind of just thrown out of nowhere that we're getting this world title tournament. But what do you think has stood out match-wise?
Ambrose and Breeze.
I was just going to mention that.
I figured that. I've been a Breeze fan in NXT.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Right?
I've been an Ambrose fan as long as he's been in with Vince.
Absolutely.
And you put them together, and they're such different type characters that it's styles make fights.
You know what? For me, I fear now what would have happened to Tyler Breeze if this tournament never happened. Because at least now he has a foundation.
Yeah.
He's hanging with somebody, and it's the people in this tournament. If he wasn't, he'd be Fandango.
No,
He'd be like...
Well, that's something that's a whole different topic about being worried about how Tyler Breeze would be booked once he got to the main roster, but that was always a worry even before he got there, you know what I mean?
I'm always a fan of Cesaro's matches. I thought he had a really good match. He had a sick reversal into a sharpshooter that night.
Yeah. I remember that.
So that, I mean, like I said, realistically, if they wanted to throw a real curveball, the curveball would be to have someone that you don't see on the other side of the ring. If you could make Reigns not in the finals,
Cesaro would have to beat him.
I think it would have to be Cesaro.
No, we can all agree it'd
because-
be Kalisto.
Obviously.
Well, no, I mean he's fighting Cesaro next.
Yeah. And Cesaro has the nice option of he's good either side. He's a good heel. He's a good face. Right. Overall, people like him because he's a great wrestler, but at the same time, he has the ability to piss people off.
All right. Well,
Word.
Well, if okay, one last thing, and then we can move on from it because we all picked our favorites or how we think. Well, we just kind of picked how we think it will go. If you had the pen and paper and you could book this thing, and you knew Rollins was injured and you had to start from scratch with your world champion, and you got to write for the WWE right now, but you could only work with what's left right now and who's still in the tournament.
okay.
Who are you booking as WWE World Champion?
Owens loses the Intercontinental Championship to Dean Ambrose, wins the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Roman Reigns can go back with him, going off of when he responds to people, he's better. And who better to respond to than Kevin Owens?
Wait, but why? I missed that. Why does Owens have to lose the title with Ambrose?
I don't want him to
winning?
have both titles. I
didn't follow what you said then. I thought you said Ambrose won.
Oh no, Ambrose wins the Intercontinental title.
Oh, that he'll be Owens later
Yeah.
and get his championship, and Owen wins.
Right.
Gotcha.
That way, because I don't want to just have Ambrose lose again. He lost for like 10 pay-per-views in a row. He needs to win a couple times. It's nice.
Okay, Steve, what would you book?
With what's left,
Yeah.
I'd probably put Owens in the finals.
Yeah.
Damn it! Here I am
Owens Cesaro. I think with
Ooh,
what's left,
That would
I
be
put
so good.
Ooh.
I would put Owens Cesaro in the final. Again, I'm going just strictly off main event caliber matches that are going to keep you in your seat, and out of those two, I'm going to agree with Andy. The only reason why I wouldn't put Owens over is because he's got the IC title right now. And right now I feel like he's a good enough guy to make that title also important.
No, I agree.
And
Totally.
I'd like to see that too. I think Cena did a good job making the U.S. title relevant again. And I'd like to see Owen. Like I would love to see an Owens Ambrose feud for the IC title, and have that go 3-4 months, like just back and forth. Even if they
Totally
trade the
agree.
title back and forth, just have that go back and forth for 3 or 4 months.
Especially with TLC coming up, and they could have some sort of ladder match.
You got,
yeah.
and then 2 months from or January, you got the Royal Rumble. You know, you've got some like have it blow off at the Royal Rumble. Have them do something there.
What would you book?
The same thing as Steve. I'd have Owens over Cesaro, not Reigns. And for me, it's simple. It's because that would be Marks would go crazy over that whole setup. Because if you think about it, it's Owens, it's Cesaro. It's win-win for anybody. If you want to see the heel champ, you got it. If Owens wins, if you're going into that hoping Cesaro wins, you're obvious cheering for the babyface. That's two things right there. But then you take into account Cesaro would have had to beat Reigns, which people would go crazy for anyway, in and of itself. And that would mean Reigns is on a different path other than the WWE Championship. That's not even counting the main event, which would be Cesaro and Owens, win-win. I would have Owens winning, by the way. That would be
All
my
right.
choice.
Okay. I wouldn't be that upset with Reigns going to the finals, especially if Ambrose won. So I would probably book it that way, of Reigns and Ambrose in the finals, with Ambrose winning, especially just because of how much sense it makes with Rollins out. But I agree with you guys in the sense that a lot of what changes it is the fact that Owens is Intercontinental Champion right now, and if he didn't have that title, I would probably book Owens to win the entire thing. And I would totally believe Owens as a credible world champion right now.
Oh yeah.
Fact.
So, yeah.
I
Fact.
It's true.
In fact, one of my favorite things in the world right now is Owens post-match interviews.
Oh.
Totally.
Oh my God.
Like Owens sleeping on a crate is my favorite thing. It is my favorite thing in the world right now.
Did you see the one this past week with JoJo, where he was like on a gurney?
Yeah,
And
it's like,
he's like, "Oh, your perfume bothers me," and then just pushes off and just slides away. It's amazing.
my favorite one was actually the one with Renee Young, but originally it was during the pay-per-view when Taker Brock were about to happen, and they're like, oh, and the other interviewer comes over, and I never remember his name, but the guy with the glasses, and he's like, just what are you talking about?
Oh, was it Rich Brennan?
I think so. And he's like, go away, go get. And like as he's about to go away, he's like, wait, Millhouse, come back over here, go get Renee Young. I want to talk to Renee. And she comes over, she's like, yeah. He's like, I didn't want to talk to him. I'm sorry. I'll give you the interview.
He is the best.
Well, actually, Kevin Owens and Renee Young are both Canadian.
They are.
And we do a segment on the show about America.
We do.
And that's the best segue I could come up with.
I'm okay with that.
So you're welcome.
Well done.
I'll take it. I will take it today. When it plays. There it is. In light of the attacks perpetrated against the French in this past week, I feel it is my duty to offer my deepest condolences to them as both a country and a people. They remembered us for the World Trade, and we will surely stand by them against the cowards that attacked. Terror shall never win against the world as long as we stand tall and strong, and most importantly, united. That is really all I have to say about this topic, because that is what the terrorists want. They want our names on their lips. Well, from me, they are hearing nothing but silence. And speaking of silence, Ronda Rousey lost via knockout. Holy cow, that's wild. I never thought I'd hear those words out of my mouth. Well, keep on keeping on, world. Keep on keeping on. I'm not going to let it finish.
It had nothing to do with America. The second part.
And what did Ronda Rousey have to do with Paris?
I didn't have words for that. I was just like, wow. You know.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best way to get. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because normally I don't actually have anything nice to say about France. So, that's me being very nice to French.
Right. Anything other than that would be
Got it.
probably
Cheesy-
inappropriate.
Exactly.
I get it.
So let's-
She's eating surrender monkeys. I understand.
Let's chop some people. Let's
Yes, let's do that.
Ugh.
chops of the week.
Chops.
Go for it.
Chops. Okay, so The Undertaker is back with his brother of destruction. Even though Bray Wyatt ate their souls and he has their powers. So does he still have their powers? I mean, what's going on? I mean, I like the fact that he had their powers. It was kind of cool. I mean, normally it's kind of ridiculous that people have superpowers, but I mean, every now and then you kind of just suspend your disbelief.
I was
And I
going to
was
say,
into
it's
it.
like how Max Landis put it in
Yeah.
that video.
And I was just into it. I'm like, oh, wow, Bray's got superpowers. That kind of works for him. He should have superpowers. And now they just show back up like nothing happened. And then they beat up the Wyatt family. Like, it was just, like, easy. But, like, isn't the Wyatt family, they're, like, the biggest, most physically imposing dudes out there right now, right? They're, like, big. They're big. One of the guys I literally refer to as Big Strong Guy.
But we're talking about Undertaker and Kane.
Big
Yeah,
strong.
but
Kane
they're
dresses in
huge.
business casual pants.
And this is 1999, and it works.
Right.
They're, like, super old. And don't believe that they could beat up those guys at all.
Let's see
And
what-
that's and I hope they get their barrels wrong at Survivor Series.
I feel
British
like
accent.
they could have strung that storyline out longer. I do agree with you. I think the whole Eater of Souls thing could have been cooler.
Yeah.
Especially if when Taker and Kane came out and everyone thought they were going to beat the hell out of the Wyatts.
They like kneeled.
They
That
kneeled.
would have been fucking great.
Yeah,
Right.
like if they did the Undertaker Kane kneel and like praised them, I think, and it would have been like, oh yeah, he did eat their souls. Now he controls them, which is the coolest superpower ever. Is now you also control the Undertaker and Kane. The
He's
two,
Shang Tsung from Mortal
yeah,
Kombat.
the most destructive forces that have ever been in WWE.
That's how he came into WWE. Sheep masks. They were sheep. They followed him. Come on.
I see what you're saying, though. It's like the puppet masters.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
controlling
He
that.
could
That
have
would
done
be
that.
crazy.
And then you figure because you've got when they had him come back out, that was what 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
You know
So-
what? I think
so
their
they
excuse
could-
for it.
They could have gone a month with him controlling them.
Right.
And then just been like, and then at Survivor Series blowing it off, or a few days or at SmackDown before Survivor Series blowing it off, and all of a sudden now there has to be a match.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is a lot of what people complained about WrestleMania for, which actually didn't bother me, but because Rollins is out, because Cena's out right now, they always, they pay attention to if they feel they're losing star power. To me, I watch it on a weekly basis. It doesn't matter who's in, who's out, I'm still watching. But if a certain amount of main eventers are out, they feel like they're lacking that star power, so they want to bring in Taker and Kane because they don't feel there's enough on the show. But then the other point is what people were complaining about with WrestleMania is that Bray Wyatt had to carry that entire storyline on his own with Taker sitting at home, to where now we have a scenario where Taker could actually be present for a storyline with the Wyatt family. So even though they kind of started it with a situation where he should have been out because he was kidnapped or whatever the hell it was, but now Taker's around and he could be there on a weekly basis, so they want to have him in the storyline so they have him come back right away.
I agree with the idea behind that. Like I said, it's more I would have just liked to have seen him control him. Like it would have been a better.
Yeah, no, they could have been there and just been controlled. Totally.
And then
that's a good point.
And then they're adding to the storyline.
Yep.
And they're there. And realistically, let's face it. Truth be told, after this Survivor Series, I don't think we see Taker. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll probably be out again.
Until he faces Kane at Mania.
He might do Mania one more time, but this is. I mean, I had kind of said originally that they should have kept the streak intact and had him lose at Survivor Series to go out, and because then it's just full circle.
And actually, for this one, you mean? For his 25th anniversary?
It would have made sense for this one. I could have seen them keeping the streak, because the streak would have been, 23-0 at this point, or 24-0?
Yeah, well, this coming one would be 23-0.
This upcoming Mania would have been 23-0? Yeah. So the last one would have been...
Or no, because it was 21, it would be 24-0.
Yeah, so right now he'd be 23-0. Keep him at 23-0 because it's never going to be achieved ever again, and unfortunately certain streaks should be kept.
Yeah.
And then bring him into, and then have him come into Survivor Series and have him do a Survivor Series match and lose, or have him do a world title match and lose. And now you're just, that's your way out. If you can't win the world title, Undertaker's going home.
So for your chop of the week, what would it be?
My chop of the week.
I could go first if you want.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to turn the tables a bit. My chop of the week. This is probably the second or third time I've chopped this guy, but this is a different reason. Mackle Cole is getting my chop of the week.
Maggle? Why Maggle?
What he did to what he's doing to Tyler Breeze.
Oh, what is he doing?
What is he doing to Tyler Breeze?
He's screwing up the build. He is.
Yeah.
There can be no ambiguity when it comes to a man's character when it's within a first month of him on the main roster. And with Cole and Breeze, what we're getting during his matches is Cole calling him a confident young man. Very confident. No, he's not. He's arrogant.
No, he's gorgeous.
He is. But you can't have that. Well,
unlike those other uggos.
He is delicious.
He's pretty. You must hate him because he's beautiful. Come on, you can't like him because.
But why would you hate him? Is it his eyes when they look at you?
I hate him because he's got.
I thought they were so gorgeous.
Summer Rae. Come on. He's got it all. He even has the whatever you call those things he has on his feet. He has them.
They're like fuzzy tassels.
Yeah.
Fuzzy tassels.
So
Flair couldn't even pull it off.
Your chop of the week is going to Maggle Cole for Maggle giving Tyler Breeze the Daniel Bryan treatment.
Ooh.
It's not that bad.
I didn't even think about that.
No, he hated Daniel Bryan.
That was the last guy who Maggle hazed. So.
But if there was any silver lining to it, I just wanted to say that in his debut match on Raw, he did have his first match in the 10 o'clock hour. Pretty cool.
That makes a difference.
All right.
Maybe it was just booking, but...
So you just take that, Michael Cole. Just take it.
Take that.
You know what? I don't like him because he lost all that weight. And he has muscles, and I want to, punch him in the face.
He really did get shredded.
He did. He really did.
Can we just hate Michael Cole for
Yeah.
being in better shape than?
Yeah.
Well, I won't speak for you guys. I don't work out at all. So just knowing Cole's in
He
better shape
looks like
than
he's
me.
in better shape than me.
Can we just hate Michael Cole?
Seriously.
that's fine.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got my
fine.
dream job.
He's wrestled on WrestleMania, and I haven't.
He
you
has.
know.
Yeah.
He's one of
He's
them.
won at WrestleMania.
He's won at WrestleMania.
Seriously.
I can't even wrestle with a guy who's been on WrestleMania. I'm gonna play off him a little bit. I believe my chop is the overall Tyler Breeze Dolph Ziggler storyline.
For that, but why specifically? Is it because that's how Breeze was brought in, or just the storyline in general?
The storyline in general. First, I hate Summer Rae.
She's so gorgeous.
Whoa.
She's
Whoa.
gorgeous.
We're gonna agree to
Hot
disagree
summer.
on this one.
I don't know. I might not like her either.
I don't like her.
Did you hear them chanting on Raw? Summer's over. No.
I didn't. I wish I did.
In which case, Summer could have really have used that to like do the whole Bo Dallas thing, where she could have played off that, and it's like, I know I'm over.
She can't.
I'm
do
so
that.
over with you guys.
She can't do that. She's not Xavier Woods.
But here's just the whole thing, the whole love affair thing that started bringing it out. The original part with Lana. I don't want any of this to do with Dolph Ziggler.
And they've been doing the soap opera thing
and
with
they
Dolph
keep
Ziggler for a long
over
time
and
now.
over and over. They keep doing it, and they don't seem to get the fact that no one likes it.
Yeah.
No one liked it when he was with Vicky Guerrero. No one likes it when you. No one really liked it when
Vicky Guerrero.
No
and
one
Dolph
really
Ziggler.
liked it when they were fighting over Lana. Quite frankly, all it did was take away from a really cool feud that could have been had with Rusev.
Yeah.
Because originally I had said a great push for Ziggler would have been, instead of Cena, I realized he was defending America's honor. In case
He
anyone
just
didn't see-
salute.
In case anyone didn't see, I did salute.
USA.
Would have been for Ziggler to get the first clean win over Rusev. And that pushes him right back into that world title contendership.
Truth.
And then you build him to the Royal Rumble spot.
I was just excited for Ziggler and Rusev's in-ring chemistry in general when they started a program with them, and then the matches just didn't live up to
I'm not
the expectations I
I'm not
had anyway.
Rusev guy.
No, me
believer.
neither. Me
I-
neither.
I,
I don't really dig him.
I think if Rusev wasn't so big, he wouldn't be the heel that he is.
They really.
Oh, no.
They screwed
No.
the pooch with the streak thing.
Screwed the pooch.
Yeah. That poor pooch.
Because you knew he was gonna
That
lose.
poor pooch.
Like it's really one of those things where, like I said, I think my chop for it is the fact that Ziggler is stuck in the same damn storyline. He is also in a fucking time loop, apparently.
Ziggler's been there for a while.
Yeah, and can we talk about the fact that Ziggler made the first step to being a permanent mid-carder? Long tights. When you switch
Hey,
to long
we take that seriously on this show. Andy has theories about Bray Wyatt's
No.
pants.
No,
like
no,
when
no,
certain
no,
guys wear certain costumes,
no,
it can
no,
be
I'm-
their destiny.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. When you switch to long tights after having short tights, AJ Styles not included, you are usually relegated to. That's when you've realized that you're relegated to mid card. Kofi Kingston.
Hey, but New Day's having success.
New Day is having success,
yeah.
but there's still New Day will still never be a gimmick that goes past a Raw main event. Like you will not see a New Day pay-per-view main event.
Well, they main evented Raw.
They main
They
event
did,
Raw,
yeah.
but
They
That's
wouldn't
true.
sell a pay-per-view if they could.
I'm okay with the New Day in the mid card. I like
but
that.
that's where they should
Yeah,
be. That's
yeah.
perfect.
That's
They're-
good
they're-
for them.
They're perfect tag team champions.
Yeah.
They're perfect with
Yeah.
the Freebird rule. It works great with them. But and their characters are amazing. I have friends that love just the entire gimmick of New Day, and I
good.
actually do like them. And if nothing else, with having Kofi there, you actually get legitimate. You have a legitimate wrestling ability there.
But costumes, accessories, we talked about Roman Reigns' contacts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that did
these
happen.
things matter.
Oh,
people.
No, and I do agree with you. I'm actually not a fan of Roman Reigns' current gear because of the
How is it updated?
well, no, I don't like the current the double R's on his chest.
Okay.
Oh, it's like spiders.
Yes, I would if they were. I prefer that the vest to be plain.
Yeah.
If they were gonna put the double R's anywhere, I felt it should have been on his pants, like put it on the pockets or something. I felt it didn't need to be all Superman style on his chest.
That's actually a good comparison because they probably do it for reasons
I'm,
like
I'm
that.
sure
It's
they
very
did it.
Superman
I'm
style,
sure
and
they
I never
did,
thought of it
I'm
that
sure
way.
they did it just for that reason.
Yeah.
But realistically, I think it doesn't look good. That's actually exactly where I'm going with it. Just as being in the business, I feel like it doesn't look good. I think it would have looked better, less cheesy, even simpler to a point if they had just put it on the pockets. They could have stitched it on the pockets. It looks vinyl and kind of crappy on his vest.
Well, speaking of guys that go from short pants to long pants, this guy did the reverse of that, and his career probably stayed the same. I don't know if it changed much. It might have improved actually from going to short pants, but I'm talking about Billy Gunn because I thought we were going to talk about that as news in general, but we didn't bring it up, so I saved it for my chop of the week.
Good point.
WWE fires Billy Gunn because of a failed drug test. I didn't look into the story that much. I feel like we say that a lot on this show, is me like introducing a story by saying I didn't do the research, I didn't do the homework, I didn't look into it. But I heard about it, and I heard the levels were off the charts. I think the legal amount was like 4-1, and he was at like 40-something to 1.
I was going to say, what was it, TRT? Or
I think higher testosterone, the common thing that they
He looks
usually
like a guy
bust
that
people with
does that.
steroids.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the outlaw that time forgot. he looks exactly.
Smoking gun, man.
He looks just like he did in 1998.
He's the ass man.
Remember when he was getting married to a dude?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Billy and Chuck.
I do. And then 3-minute warning broke it up.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just
Nothing.
wanted to say.
It is 2015.
So,
It
Billy
wasn't that.
Gunn is one of those guys that you would probably consider in Triple H's inner circle
Yeah.
for being old DX. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he got brought back for
But-
30.
If you fail a drug test, you have no immunity. You are.
I think, yeah,
You
I
get the
think
boot.
that might have been it might have been one of those situations where, well, we might talk to you in the future because he was a trainer.
Absolutely. I think the door is probably open for him,
Yeah.
but he's either no, because he's not suspended. He is fired, but
He's
I'm
fired.
sure the door will be open.
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
I'm
future
sure it's gonna
if
be
he-
one of those things
you know.
like, hey, maybe like because that was one of the things with when he was with the New Age Outlaws was that was why they worked so well is Road Dogg's in-ring work was middle of the road, sometimes at best. He was a good hand, but he was great on the mic.
Yes.
As to where Billy Gunn said 2 words, but
Right.
he was an amazing athlete and he did
Yes.
great work in the ring, and they played off of that very, very well.
Yeah, I like
And
the
they-
New Age Outlaws.
And that was really why the New Age Outlaws worked. I could see them bringing back Billy Gunn, if nothing else, because he's such a great hand in the ring, and he was such a great hand in the ring. That's kind of the guy you want to learn from, and since he was a trainer, that was his main
Absolutely.
job. Like, unfortunately, because of the business that it is, you have to be able to pass drug tests, and this might have been one of those like, if I'll fire this guy, what makes you think I won't fire you? Like, get your shit together.
which is a good precedent to set. You know what
You
I
know,
mean?
like this has been one of my good friends for how many years? I fired him.
Not a good year for the Performance Center, huh?
Yeah, right. Let's just say Billy Gunn's not going back to TNA. That will not be in his future. But let's do our pops of the week.
Billy Gunn.
Actually, that makes sense.
Pop
Billy Gunn,
gun.
Papa Gun. Yeah.
Hey.
It's a segue.
That's what we do.
Hey, it's a
Hey.
Billy
Louder
Gunn
and louder every
segue.
week.
How about that?
How about that?
So, just like my chop of the week, my pop of the week goes to The Undertaker. For those who don't know, he had
I
an
feel like we
appearance-
should have had a gong sound effect right there.
Or a motorcycle starting.
Motorcycle for me, yes. He had an appearance on the Jimmy Fallon program. You may or may not have heard of the Jimmy Fallon program. He's kind of like the late night guy.
I think people have heard of the Jimmy Fallon program.
It was pretty much the greatest thing ever. He was reading from a like a suggestion box, and they said you should have the WWE's Undertaker on, and he should tombstone a guy dressed as a turkey. And he said, well, that's really great and all, guys, but, you know, I don't know the Undertaker. I don't know how I'm supposed to get in contact with him. And the gong happens, and it cuts to a shot, and the Undertaker is all there in his glory, like, doesn't say a word, comes out, tombstones Brad Maddox dressed as a turkey, and that's it.
All right, now let's pause right there. Is this a rib on Brad Maddox?
Everything has a rib on
Yeah,
Brad
I
Maddox.
figured.
It was the most random.
It was
thing.
so great.
I loved it.
And then the best is like Jimmy Fallon goes up to like shake his hand, and then he just looks at him. He's like, "Okay," it's just perfect. That's the Undertaker that I like.
I have to check that out.
It's like
It
a
was
2-minute
hilarious.
clip. It's great.
I did see it. It was great.
There was like a mat there and everything.
It was.
He circles him when he's standing
Full like
there.
lights and smoke
Yeah.
and like lightning and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
It
the
was
fake
real.
lightning.
They
had
tried.
the
They
fake
tried to
lightning.
do the lighting with the lightning. Like they were flickering the lights on and off behind them. I'm like, this is so great, and yet
And he even did the hands over the heart
He
3
did.
count.
He did the tongue out and the eyes rolling in his head. It was terrific.
Scary how old he really is. But anything, if the Undertaker does, it's good.
So that is my
I
pop.
mean, he is wrestling royalty.
Indeed.
He is. Steve, your pop of the week.
My pop of the week. Okay, it's got to be explained. Seth Rollins' injury, not because he got injured. I don't want him to be injured. I'm a Seth Rollins fan, but because we now have this title tournament.
So your pop is the opportunity.
The
that
opportunity.
opened.
My pop is actually the fact that for once WWE had to think on its toes a little bit, and it's been a while since they've done that. And really, Vince is great when he has to shoot from the hip a little bit. So
Or he was.
he was. I actually still think he is. The
But
problem
he's
is
got
when
limits.
Depends on how his hips are at this age.
also true. They're horrible when he runs out to the ring during the Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
But that's the thing is, when was the last time that he really had to think right off the bat like that? It's been a while, and usually some of the best storylines that we got were because Vince had to work at that show to figure out what they were doing.
CM Punk.
Punk.
I'm trying to think back to the. That's the
I
first
mean-
one that comes to mind.
I
he was
mean,
actually involved in that.
Anything involved in the Monday Night War was pretty much off the hip.
Well, remember that time Raw got snowed out like a year ago, and
Yeah.
they had to tape the entire
Oh my
episode from
God.
their office.
From
Yes.
yeah.
He had to think on his toes, and I remember he was there behind the camera for every single segment
Yeah.
in the snow, like
And it was
freezing
cool.
his
Yeah.
ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Vince is better when he has to work off of almost throw off his back heel.
Because it brings it back to his natural skill. He
he's
is just made to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As many times as he could be flawed and do a lot of stupid stuff.
We said this the
He
last time I
has
was on the
this
show.
Yes.
Everyone wants to badmouth Vince McMahon, but at the same time, he's still the man.
Yes, in every way.
You
The
know,
greatest, yeah.
when you make the wrestling Mount Rushmore, as much as you might want to put Hogan and Flair on there, how do you not put Vince McMahon? He might be the real wrestling god. You know?
And Dave Meltzer.
Yes, yes, obviously. But in all honesty, the
Just
pop,
Dave Meltzer with his notepad,
Yes.
on Mount Rushmore.
Exactly. But the pop is the fact that now they have to now they had to throw this together, and as much as it's makeshift, we're getting great matches out of it.
Totally.
You're getting guys who might not wrestle with each other. Kalisto beat Ryback, but the match was actually pretty good, and it was believable that Kalisto was putting a fight against them.
David beat Goliath.
Exactly. You had a great Cesaro match. You had an okay Ziggler match. Unfortunately, I'm not a Miz fan, and I thought he looked out of shape.
He's lost my.
But you got Ambrose versus Breeze, which if this tournament didn't happen, when was the last? I was
just
going
gonna
to
say that match would
Yes.
never
Right.
happen otherwise.
Exactly.
We would have seen that match maybe 6 months from now if
Yeah.
Breeze was lucky enough to be in the IC title picture.
On Superstars.
I was gonna say on main event
Yeah.
for like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have gotten it like we got it this time. But, if we were lucky, Breeze manages to break through the ceiling, and at Mania he's fighting for the IC title, but we wouldn't have gotten that normally.
And then he gets put in a wheelchair and thrown off stage by John Cena as John Cena kisses his girlfriend,
No,
Zack Ryder.
don't bring up Ryder.
Just saying.
I'm still like bitter about Zack Ryder.
I think we all are.
But I love the hype bros.
Hype bros, man. They're so hype.
All right. my pop of the week. I'm going to go with a little bit of a heel turn here, because I don't think anybody here is going to agree with me. But my pop of the week, not wrestling related. Ronda Rousey got knocked out last night. Best thing.
And that's your pop of the week?
That
She
is
ain't
my
hype.
pop
You
of the week.
heel.
She ain't hype.
You jerk.
That is my pop. The world needed this.
Why? Why did she have to lose?
Because, as King Leonidas said, even a
He's
god
getting
king
on a soapbox. Get ready.
can bleed.
Yeah,
I just wanted
was gonna
her-
say, Andrew's about to go off. Hold on. I'm just gonna sit back while he
I've
does
been
Go,
this.
go,
waiting.
go ahead. Give us your Ronda Rousey rant.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have been
And,
waiting.
Here's
I'll-
your
I'll-
rowdy
I'll-
rant.
I'll retort after this. I'm probably gonna agree with him for the most part, but I'm still gonna retort
All right.
after he's done with this.
Did I bring my soapbox? Where?
Yep.
Here it is. Okay.
Step up.
Step up. Okay.
Go ahead.
Rhonda, you've dominated for far too long. The time has been. I got.
There you
I
go.
got
You
background
got some music.
music.
Take it away, Andrew.
Go for it.
This had to happen, and it had to happen now. I love that it happened against Holly. She deserved it. She deserved it because she also is undefeated. She also is undefeated. And now my woman, Misha Tate, gets her chance to maybe not have revenge against Ronda, but she will get her chance to remain in the UFC. That's a whole other tangent. Ronda Rousey lost. I hated how pop culture made her into this guess I don't want to sound
Icon.
sexist, but she was
We should probably cut it off because we usually make mistakes whenever we say we don't want to sound sexist and then we say things.
yes.
Nothing
'cause
good comes after that.
Yeah. Never ever.
Okay, so I will just wrap it up with this. Rhonda, you lost. You're human. Now your career can truly begin.
As a WWE diva.
Shut
Okay,
up.
my
Shut
pop of
up.
the week.
Shut up.
My
No.
pop of the week.
No. I am not happy about that idea. Steve
You don't want
Zapp
to see
does
Ronda Rousey
No,
as a
never
diva?
ever.
No.
Let's put it this way.
You don't want to see Rousey Banks.
No.
Come on.
No. God, no.
I want to see Rousey,
Well, first
Stephanie.
off, Ronda Rousey's armbar is probably much more painful than
Del Rio's.
or anyone else's in the WWE
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, and
I don't want to see her break her.
And as far as Rousey being entertaining, when was the last time she was in a movie that you actually liked her part in?
Entourage.
There
I
you
like
go.
Entourage.
Still haven't
Entourage.
seen it. Yeah, and you want to know what? I didn't even believe her, and she was playing herself.
You have such a good point.
Every
Okay.
movie she plays herself, basically, and I still can't buy into it. Woman's supposed to be the most badass person on the planet. I can't believe that she's really that person in the movie.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to convey.
She's no Haley Joel Osment.
No.
To go with Andrew's statement on Ronda Rousey losing, though, as much as I dislike this man, I do respect this comment from him. Brock Lesnar said
I
recently.
thought you were talking about Andrew.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no.
what's wrong with Andrew?
No, Brock Lesnar recently said of Ronda Rousey, she's a super athlete in a weak division. It's pretty accurate.
Well, she got tested.
If anybody knew that, it would be Brock Lesnar.
Fact.
Right.
When was the last time Rousey was tested, though? Last night she went longer in one fight than she had in her last 4.
The last time she went into the second round was against Misha Tate.
Misha Tate. And that's the only time she's ever gotten into anywhere into type of deep waters.
No, you could tell she was struggling. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the idea
And-
that, like a weakness was found. You were watching
No.
her fight and you were thinking, like, she looks weak.
Yeah, and
You never see her vulnerable
I think
like that.
I think ego came into it.
See, I heard
Oh.
some people saying that. I never thought she was that egotistical. though.
Why would you stand up with a world-class kickboxer?
Yeah. Well,
Because
I'm not Ronda Rousey, so I
because you
can't
want
answer
because
that.
you want to prove that you can beat someone at their own game.
She's
Right.
so used to doing that.
She is so used to doing it. But what everyone also seemed to forget with Holly Holm is she unified the boxing world titles.
She's deadly.
Yeah.
She wasn't she an undefeated boxer?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not as educated on the subject. I don't know enough about her career.
She's an undefeated women's boxer, professional boxer. She
And kickboxer, too,
and
correct?
she's a great.
That's
she's
what
an
I
amazing.
thought she was,
She's
yeah.
an amazing kickboxer, but she didn't get into kickboxing as much until. I mean, she's always been training with John Winkleman from Greg Jackson's camp.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's been a product of him for 20 years. but she unified the WBO, WBF, and WBA welterweight boxing championships for the women, or bantamweight women's boxing championships. And you're going to try to stand with this person, regardless of if you think you have better hand speed or better striking ability. This is a woman who's seen every angle already. She's going to see these angles before you do. Why wouldn't you try to throw her? Stick with your. Sometimes you have to be smart enough to know what you're good at and what they're good at, and you can't always beat somebody at what they're good at. You have to do with what you're doing.
She got kicked in the face.
She did get kicked in the face, but she got the crap kicked out of her for the entire round before that. There was not a point where
she definitely lost that first round.
There was never a point where Ronda Rousey was in the dominant position.
Not at all.
Even when she took Holly Holm down, Holly Holm was in full control of that situation. Everyone was worried about the armbar. Ronda Rousey never had a hold of her arm.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for.
They were looking and
the uneducated fans that just tune in because it's Ronda Rousey.
And you can actually see in the second round, just about 30 seconds before she gets kicked, when she misses that big punch, she's already lost the fight. She knows she lost the fight. It's also one of those things, like I said, she went into the fight, I felt emotional and egotistical, and she's a super athlete in a semi-weak division. Who else is she going to fight?
Well, I mean, there's Sasha Banks, there's Charlotte, there's Becky Lynch, there's Nikki Bella.
Look,
there's
no, because here's the other thing is
Stephanie McMahon.
Do we bring Ronda Rousey in and have her Brock Lesnar? She's in every 3 months.
I'd be fine with that, actually.
She dominates every time.
I'd be fine with that. If Ronda played female Brock Lesnar, I would not be mad at that at all.
But I feel like that would shoot the whole revolution in the foot.
You're probably right about that. I just
I see where your point is with that, but at this, because she's
no, legitimate. I know. I think Sasha Banks is well more deserving than Ronda Rousey ever would be in the
and she'll put
division.
on a great match every night. By the way, last time I was here and Andrew asked me about Sasha Banks, I did say she was underrated. I do believe that my words still hold true, is because
you think so? I think Sasha's she is on a whole different level for
now. Everyone realizes it. 3 months ago, when I talked to you guys, Sasha Banks was underrated because she was sitting behind the two blondes. Unfortunately, when they first formed the team, it was Summer Rae, Charlotte, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks was number 3 in the group, technically.
Right. She was working her way up.
And then all of a sudden, she's having these great matches. She's having a great match with Becky. She's having a great match with everybody. And then NXT Brooklyn happened. And you realize that was the match on the card.
Totally. All right. My pop of the week, I'm going to give to somebody who used to be known as Drake Younger. Because if you guys watch the new WWE Network TV shows, there's a show called Breaking Ground. And there was a segment on the show where Tyler Breeze was doing his entrance, and because they had the referee mic'd up, Drake Younger sang along to Tyler Breeze's theme song. And it was the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Especially when you've seen Drake Younger's previous career as a deathmatch wrestler, where he's breaking light tubes over his head.
He was a pure CCW guy. Like
he did some of the craziest stuff.
In the purest forms. Like, he was...
And you know why that excites me? Is because since they took him on as a referee, that means that when he moves on from NXT and he progresses onto the main roster, that means that like 5 years from now, when you're watching like Ambrose in the main event of WrestleMania, Drake Younger will be the referee, and there's going to be some crazy sick ref bump where he gets like dropped on his head on concrete, and like fans explode over the idea that like you just killed him, but people don't realize it's Drake Younger and he can take that kind of bump.
I was going to say, and you know who the main event will probably be against? Owens. Because they're all really good
CZW guys. Yeah,
they're all really good friends. I don't know if you guys, obviously you just brought up the network. Have you guys watched Table for Three?
I love it. It's one of my favorite shows.
And the one with Cesaro, Owens, and Ambrose is one of my favorite episodes far, because they really are just...
Talking about the staples to his head. Oh, God. Can you imagine?
Although the one with Ryback, Ziggler and Daniel Bryan is also
That was pretty good.
kind of good when you
Just because teasing and ribbing Ryback seems like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Or the
wanna
worst
be
thing you
big
could
for
ever do.
Brock.
Oh,
that
but the show's over though.
Is that
so,
all we
It
got?
All right, bye.
You know, it's been
See ya.
really great. I hope everybody had a good time with the listening today. So, have a good bye.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, shit.
Hold up.
We John Cena up in here.
All right, I completely forget the notes that we made of what we would
I
talk
made
about.
notes.
Read the list.
Thank
What
God
what
for
should we
it.
talk about, and we'll just talk about it.
Ring of Honor / New Japan matches.
Okay, real quick. Ring of Honor's biggest show of the year is Final Battle. That's like their WrestleMania. 2 matches have been announced, and one of them is the main event that we assumed it would be: AJ Styles versus Jay Lethal for the world title. I'm pretty psyched about that.
World's going to end after that match.
I love both guys, and that's going to be a great match.
I agree with you, but with the talks of AJ possibly going to NXT, is this just a foregone conclusion?
Stop. Don't say it. Why would you jinx it?
I think the opposite, because I heard...
Or are they going to do the CM Punk thing where they give him the belt and now
No.
you have to wonder if he's going to go?
I think AJ's going to stick with New Japan just because I think it's a better situation for him.
Yeah, we talked
And
about
I
that.
feel like that for the career that AJ has had,
I-
the fact that he's never been Ring of Honor World Champion, I feel like that's what this setup is actually for.
I love the idea of him being Ring of Honor champion, but I also love the idea of him going to NXT.
No, I know. A lot of people do.
Um,
Everyone wants to see that AJ run in WWE.
I'd love to see AJ Balor.
In Dallas.
Mm.
Dude, can you imagine?
I'd love to see another AJ Joe match, as much as I dislike Joe. AJ Breeze,
Yes.
AJ
there's-
Ambrose,
Yeah,
AJ anybody really.
yeah. There's a lot of dream matches.
There's a lot of matches, a lot of guys in there that there's a lot of talent that I think AJ could pull talent out of.
He'd also hurt these guys. I'm just kidding.
He
Good.
didn't do it for 13 years. He all of a sudden 2 guys get hurt.
It was like 3 or 4, 5, but yeah. No, see, we talked about that, and this is a whole different conversation, but we brought that up one week about, like, Seth Rollins. Like, because I've always compared Rollins and Styles a little bit, that there's a lot of similarities. And Rollins, and Styles too, they're both so good in the ring in such a perfect way. Like, they hit everything to perfection, and they're so creative, and they're so talented. Yet Rollins ends up hurting a bunch of people. And you have to question, it's like, even when somebody's that good or looks that good, if they start hurting people, are they dangerous in the ring?
Yeah.
And that was a whole thing we got on with, like, Styles, that, like, Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world, but if he starts, like, breaking necks, is he dangerous?
I've had the argument about the Styles Clash in general, because that's always where it comes back to, is the Styles Clash.
Best move ever.
But if you again, for however long, over a decade, he was with TNA. No one got hurt, and it was always the same move. It's more, unfortunately, your automatic reaction in the
Well, there
ring
was
is
Stevie Richards. He
Steve-
got hurt in TNA.
Stevie Richards doesn't count. He was the doctor at the time, wasn't he?
Something like, yeah, remember that horrible
That
character they
horrible
created for him?
Dr.
The Doctor
Stevie?
for Abyss.
Oh my God.
So bad.
He's busy doing yoga anyway. It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
But unfortunately, speaking as someone who's been in the ring, it's your automatic reaction to tuck your head,
Right.
and I think you could also say that the level of, as much as TNA is on the downhill, the level of talent that he was working with in TNA might have been better, and you might have actually, with the Japanese style of wrestling, you still are dealing with a little bit of a language barrier.
Yeah, no, totally. I think people
You know-
underestimate that too. Is that some people probably think they will be in the ring and completely feeling it out from body language because they cannot communicate
you can't-
anything to
yeah.
each other, But actually, speaking of New Japan, though, in tie-in with Ring of Honor, the other matches that were announced are for New Japan's biggest show of the year, which is Wrestle Kingdom. There was already previously announced the main event was Tanahashi versus Okada for the world title. They're doing a 4-way for the junior tag team title. which is the obvious junior tag teams that they use all the time. Red Dragon, Time Splitters, Young Bucks, and Roppongi Vice.
Oh.
And the other major match that got announced from the last pay-per-view, which is a dream match in itself, which I'm so excited for, is Shinsuke Nakamura defending the Intercontinental title against AJ Styles.
Oh.
So that will be very, very good. But what's the other notes? Because I completely
Randy
forget
Orton got
here.
married.
Yeah, he got married.
Woo.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Can't
Randy
tie him
Orton.
down. Oh, wait.
The WWE Christmas sweater pictures have been released.
I do want those sweaters. I want an Ambrose. Have you
They're-
guys seen it?
No.
Sweaters?
I have not
They're
seen
pretty
the
cool
sweaters.
looking. I like
They're
them.
pretty cool.
What
And
else?
the last thing I have is wrestlers in Paris during attacks.
Yes. The Bella Twins were over there, and Jeremy Borash from TNA was over there.
I think there was someone else from TNA too. I can't remember
Probably.
who, but I think Velvet tweeted something about it that it was Jeremy Borash and someone else from TNA were.
Probably doing promotional work. I know they're going out to India soon.
We're
and-
both over there during the attack, so
Well, the whole point is thank God they got home safe, and
Yeah.
they're all okay now. Along with anybody who made it out safe from that horrible situation.
Yes.
But I think we're good.
That really
that
is
actually
everything.
is everything. No crazy sound effect to mess you up now.
Steve, thanks for coming out again.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Steve.
Loved
Thank you
having
for
you.
coming out.
The
always
return.
always a pleasure, guys.
The return. All right. You can reach us on our YouTube. Please subscribe.
Just subscribe.
Hit a like.
Just subscribe.
Send us a comment.
Thumbs up.
Send us an email. chopsandpopspodcast@gmail.com.
Subscribe.
chopsandpopspodcast@gmail.com.
Subscribe.
One more time.
chopsandpoppodcast@gmail.com. What's our Twitter?
I was just going to take that from you. @ Chops and Pops. It is so simple to type. You don't even need to hit the space bar. Just hit Chops and Pops after an @ symbol. Follow us because I run it and I'm great.
Subscribe.
Woo!
I might even
Subscribe.
post some bad things about Ronda Rousey.
Don't you dare.
He is most likely going to do that.
So, I'm Andy.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Shane.
And again, this is Steve Zaff.
So, thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Next week, Survivor Series.
Woo!
Ronda Rousey says.
Woo. Ronda. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Got knocked the fuck
KO!
Got knocked the fuck